This was a locked room murder case. The old man had died unexpectedly at home. In order to absolve herself of guilt, the nurse, overwhelmed with remorse and fear, tried hard to control her emotions. She went downstairs, loudly said goodbye, pretended to leave, then took a small path back, climbed up the trellis, opened a hidden window, put on the old man's pajamas, and intentionally let the younger son see her. Then she left through the hidden window, creating the illusion that the old man was still alive when she left. Unexpectedly, the old grandmother saw her but mistook her for her own grandson. The nurse didn't respond and just left. She would vomit if she lied. Facing the detective's questioning, she told partial truths and indeed showed no reaction, so the detective let her go. The next day, the detective began searching the house and asked the nurse to stay by his side to assist in the investigation. The nurse realized her deception was full of loopholes. For example, the front door surveillance had already recorded her actions that night. Her footprints were all over the small path in the backyard. Although she temporarily concealed the evidence, it was only a matter of time before the detective discovered it. When they went inside to investigate, the eldest grandson Carrie arrived just in time because the will was to be read that day. In fact, on the night of the incident, the younger grandson had heard the old man and Carrie arguing. The old man wanted to kick Carrie out of the inheritance. Everyone started arguing with Carrie. The detective, uninterested in their family quarrels, went to check the door. At that moment, he noticed a wooden ladder leading to a third-floor window. Then he found a hidden door on the third floor and dried mud on the carpet. Now things were finally starting to make sense. Someone had snuck into the old man's room at the time of the incident. At 10 o'clock, the lawyer began reading the will. Everyone was shocked. The old man had left all his property to the nurse, not giving a penny to his own children and grandchildren. They finally showed their true colors, cursing the nurse as a shameless vixen. Only Carrie laughed and laughed. The nurse fled in fear, but the engine failed. At this moment, Carrie chivalrously intervened and took the nurse away, coaxing her to tell the truth. After hearing the nurse's story, Carrie said he would help her escape guilt, but after succeeding, she would have to give him half of the property. The next day, the nurse received an anonymous letter with the top half of the old man's blood test report. It said, "I know what you did." The nurse turned to Carrie for help. Carrie said as long as she destroyed the original at the blood testing center, she would be safe. However, when they arrived at the blood testing center, it had already been burned down. In other words, the only incriminating evidence was in the hands of the mysterious person. Carrie prompted the nurse to check her text messages and email to see what the mysterious person wanted. Sure enough, there was an anonymous email in her inbox with a meeting place and time. The police and detective, notified of the fire, also arrived here. Just as the two were about to leave, the detective spotted them. The nurse panicked and sped off in the car, but was ultimately caught up by the police car. It turned out the detective had gone to see the old man's mother. The old mother told him that it was Carrie who had climbed up the trellis to the third floor that night. Now Carrie was a prime suspect. The police took Carrie back to the station. The detective got into the nurse's car. When the nurse saw the agreed time, she made an excuse, abandoned the detective, and went to the basement alone.